We're on to 4A and to 4A Division 2, where this is the other place where I think there's unanimity. How about that word? In the state championship pick. All of us have Carthage winning Region 2, and all of us have Carthage winning the state championship. The number one team in the state took the loss early to Kilgore, but since then have looked terrific. I think they've figured out what works, which is running the dang ball with KJ Edwards, throwing the ball at Jet Surratt, and then more importantly, that defense.
Yeah, Jet Surratt was hurt during that Kilgore game too, so I'm not throwing any shade on Kilgore, but
yeah, I think Carthage. Now look, I will say this: Carthage will have to play a regional semifinal against Pleasant Grove, who is playing really well right now for a team that I think is too young to understand they're not supposed to be this good, right? And then they play Gilmer in a regional final, and you discount Gilmer at your own peril. Trust me, I know.
See, that's what solidified Carthage for me too, is the fashion in which they lost last year says Scott Surratt revenge game all over it, which is not the side of the ball you want to be on.
To Region 1, where everyone in this room, plus Mallory Hartley, went with Graham to win Region 1. To me, not just that they beat Brock in Week 10, but the way that they beat Brock in Week 10, quarterback Ty Thompson, and then that defense, to me, solidifies them as the clear favorite in Region 1, my opinion.
Yeah, when you have a player like Ty Thompson who is seasoned, he can sling it like he does. When you can complement that with a good defense, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to beat Graham.
I think so. But it's not unanimous. Ish thinks that Brock gets him in a rematch, potentially, or they get knocked out. But Step is going with Glen Rose. Glen Rose is remember, they've won the region, I think, the last 3 years. So, like, they're the team of record in Region 1. So keep an eye on that.
Seminole sneaky in that one?
It's a tough region. Like, I think Graham's the favorite, but, like, it's a tough region there in Region 1. Meanwhile, we talked about Region 2. Over to Region 3. Region 3 were evenly split between two teams, even though I think that you could go with as many as 4 teams in this region. 3 of us, myself, Ashley, myself and WTF, Mallory Hartley. And
that's good company to be in picks with.
I would agree in this instance. Hampshire Finette. I was really impressed with their win over West Orange Stark to finish the year. I think they've got the dude at quarterback in Ty Bryson. I think that they are the team to beat.
I think Chris Augustine gives them a really good balanced attack, too, on the offensive side of the ball.
Totally agree. And then Greg Powers, Matt Stepp, and Ishmael Johnson running it back with Belleville.
Yeah, I just think they're battle-tested this year. You know, they faced a tough schedule. They made it to the AT&T Stadium last year for the championship game. A lot of wins under those guys' belts.
But here's the thing. That is we didn't even mention La Vega, who I think is certainly in the mix to win this region. We didn't even mention a team like West Orange Stark.
Oh yeah.
Who a week ago we would have been talking about as a favorite to win this region. We even talk about a team like Robinson, which I think is dangerous, or Madisonville. This is good
Jasper region. Rose up last year in the playoffs.
This is a dangerous region. I think really unpredictable. I think it's the deepest region. Region 2, I think, has the best teams, but Region 3, I think, is the deepest region.
I went with Belleville because of the experience. Not only what did they bring on the offensive side of the ball back from what they had last year, but what they have at the defensive front. If those guys are healthy and playing well, it's going to be tough to move the ball on them. They could shut any offense down. Region
4, we are evenly split. So, and I think this is really, the 3 of us are in lockstep. We're going with Wimberley. And I think that the reason, I don't want to speak for you guys. I'll talk about my reasoning. My reasoning is, until somebody beats them in Region 4, you have to pick them. They've just dominated Region 4 for the last 10 million years.
Mine is the fact that they were hurt early on, or they played really well the first couple of games, then they were really hurt, and we watched it completely dive down. The fact that they are back up to full strength, they are just romping people.
Yeah, I think
I can't pick against them. I mean, it's hard to pick against Wimberley. I mean, to me, I do think there's some challenging games. I mean, a matchup with Cuero is going to be pretty interesting. I think if that game happens, and then Sinton's been playing so well. Yeah, that's like a dream matchup.
Sinton's defense against Cody Stover would be box office stuff.
I'll tell you the quarterback matchup there.
Yeah,
Tristan Hansen versus Cody Stover. Yeah, would be so much fun to watch there. Wimberley and Sinton, I think, do feel like the clear 2 teams with a potential party crasher in Cuero. But I think that, Sinton and Wimberley, you're well within your rights to take either of them. And then, of course, all of us in lockstep with Carthage as the favorite to win the 4A Division II state championship. So there it is, our 4A Division II predictions here on the Texas Football Today playoff prediction show. I will get it by the end of the show. You can't have me do a long show late night on Saturday and then give it a 24 hours later be like, let's do a name.
Buckle up, Buttercup. Here we are. 4A Division 1.
To 4A Division 1 we go. Okay. A lot of chalk here, but also some changes, and some people like me have some courage to be different. Let's start with our state championship picks. All of us here are going with Salina. I think Salina has looked like the most complete team in the state. Plain and simple. I think pound for pound, they look like the most complete team in the state. And what they've been able to do, romping people, running game, quarterback play with Bo Bentley, and that defense, to me, that adds up to the favorite in Region 2, a tough Region 2, but a favorite in Region 2, and a favorite to win the state championship.
They've kept their foot on the gas all season long without letting up. So, that has been the most impressive thing to me. They show up every week.
Yeah, they absolutely do. We'll bounce over to Region 1. They're the favorite in Region 2. We'll bounce over to Region 1. Region 1, we're all going with Stephenville. Mm-hmm. They have the loss on the year. It's to an out-of-state team. I think that if Salina hadn't been playing this well, we'd be talking a lot more about Stephenville. Somehow, a one-loss Stephenville team, I think, is somehow under the radar. A part of it is that they have that one loss in the year, but they have been exceptional recently.
Yeah, I think, and then, you look at the rest of the region, too, and I think maybe you have them going up against a team, like if Lampasas could get hot. Brownwood has been too up and down for me to feel confident in that. That's really what that came down to, is those two teams not necessarily playing as consistent as they usually do. That's what it was like. Okay, Stephenville has at least been one of the only consistent teams in this region.
I agree.
Is Stephenville favored in every game? What's the Stephenville Salina? Would Stephenville be favored?
Salina would be according to the computer. Salina would be a very slight favorite, like a pick'em. It would lean Salina, but it would be a more or less a coin flip type game.
They should be a big favorite then in every game leading
absolutely
up to that.
Totally agree with that. Region 3 is where things get interesting. You two plus Mallory and Stepp go with Kilgore, the Ragin' Red, and I can't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. Kilgore and Stepp's going with Kilgore to win state. My issue with Kilgore is they have been a little inconsistent, and I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to trust them to put together 6 consecutive weeks, especially, that loss to Henderson scares me. They lost to Gilmer. When their offense their defense shows up every week, but their offense has been a little flighty. I don't know if I necessarily trust them to get back to play stack 6 games in a row. I went with Pine Tree, which is a team that they lost narrowly to. Pine Tree lost narrowly to Kilgore. It's hard to beat a good team twice. I think Pine Tree's been a little bit more steady, and I think that steadiness may pay off. But of course, Chapel Hill could up and win.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I'm going to disagree with you on your take on Kilgore.
Okay.
I don't think flighty is the right word for their offense after 42, 42, 52, 48. I think that loss to Henderson is exactly what they needed to win this region, because I think other than that, they've been kind of blowing through things. The Gilmer game is always close. I think those are 2 really good teams going at it. I don't know. I think that Henderson game woke them up.
Okay. All right. Maybe you're right. I look at this Region 3, and I think Pine Tree can get them in a low-scoring slugfest in a rematch. Region 4.
Sleeping on Chapel Hill.
If Chapel Hill's healthy, that's the question.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's like the outlier, right?
Yeah, Chapel Hill's the question mark, because we know the top-end talent there with Brisbane and Stewart. If they're on the field and they're effective, they're maybe the favorite in Region 3.
They need one. If one of those guys changes everything.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right.
But the depth is.
And then Region 4, everyone except me is on LBJ, and LBJ has been just molly-whopping teams. Absolutely. I look at Davenport, who is, of course, the reigning regional champion. People forget that. The reigning regional champion, 9-1 on the year. Their one loss on the year is to an undefeated 5A San Antonio Piper. And they have been drilling teams. I think Davenport, I'm going with Davenport. Would they meet in the second round or third round?
Third round
of the playoffs. That would be a terrific game.
You know the team that I'm kind of surprised no one took?
Who's that?
Bay City.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, that bottom half of the bracket, they're in 4A.
They're going to beat up on each other. Bay City, Cal Allen, El Campo.
You get Cal Allen, El Campo in the first round. You want to talk about like historic like programs duking it out in the first round. But yeah, that bottom half with Bay City, Cal Allen, El Campo. I'd even throw in a team like Taylor, which at times has played really well. It is a really interesting Region 4, but I think LBJ and Davenport, to me, the top half is the power nexus.
I was surprised. I thought this one would be much more varied.
You think so?
Yeah, I really was, because I really struggled in this.
I did too. I ended up going, I ended up kind of zigging when they zag. Y'all are all the chalky people. I don't get it.
Well, I didn't even see. I'm disconnected with it enough that I didn't even know I was being chalky. With that one, because of the district that they're coming out of. I know they were undefeated, but
I think
there's some other teams in this region that have better district schedules, play tougher teams throughout the course of the season, although LBJ's been walloping.
I just think that a lot of the teams in this region are low scoring, kind of that slugfest. They've played a lot of really hard teams. I don't think a lot of these teams have played the caliber of recruits that LBJ has, specifically on the defense and on the outside. Yeah,
it is a fascinating bracket there, 4A Division 1. I like Salina. I think they are battle tested, and I think they've got I think that they are the most complete team in this bracket. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Stephenville win it. If Kilgore can put together 6 weeks, I'm telling you, the upside's there for them to do it. LBJ, Davenport, it's a fun region there in 4A Division 1.